Hey, what's up guys, it's Bonk, and for the past 4.5 years now, I've been developing my indie roguelike game, Slimekeep. This game, which started development as a 48-hour game jam game, has by far turned into the biggest project of my life. And while the development has been long and grueling, the game is finally done. Well, not really. See, today I want to share with you my ridiculous journey to try to finish Slimekeep, what it is like to develop a commercial game in your free time, and the many struggles I've encountered along the way. Also, this devlog is going to be quite different from what I usually do around here, but it's one that I feel like I need to make, as my goal with this channel is to show the realities of game development. So, here we go. Okay, let's set the stage. It's January 2024, and after pushing back the release window of Slimekeep from 2022 to 2023, I finally decide that this is where I draw the line. Slimekeep is releasing this year no matter what. I don't care what I have to do, I'll cut the scope down if need be, just anything to get this game out. And I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty much all the main content in the game is done, I just need to take a few more months to polish everything up, add some more replayability, and make some final tweaks and bug fixes based on playtester feedback. Then we should be good to go, and hey, I'm feeling pretty optimistic towards a summer 2024 release date. For the first time ever, it feels like I'm finally in the home stretch. Because of this, I really started to focus on the project. Not that I wasn't doing this before, but now with this goal in mind, I started to work a lot. Pretty much all of my free time was devoted to working on Slimekeep, and I started to upload pretty much solely Slimekeep Devlogs on this channel in an effort to focus on the game. Fast forward to June, and things are going well. I've made massive improvements to the game all around. There's tons of new replayability mechanics, everything feels much more polished, and I'm constantly releasing new builds to playtesters, fixing bugs and small issues as they arise. Everyone around me continues to ask, when will the game come out? And I tell them, soon, for real this time. I explain that the game is basically done, but I just need to iron out a few last things. From here, I accept that the game probably won't release this summer, but still a fall release date is definitely in the picture, as after all, there's really not much left to do. We're now in July, and I start to focus solely on playtesting for the game. I manually test a bunch of the core game systems myself to make sure everything functions as intended, and fix things as I go. While this is going well, I figure it wouldn't be a bad idea to add some more playtesters to the pool to offer a new perspective. So I make an announcement on my Discord server that I'm looking for new playtesters, get way more applications than I anticipated, sift through all of them, and accept around 30 new playtesters to help out. I've been having playtests throughout the past year or so, fixing literally thousands of bugs and small issues along the way, so I'm feeling confident that the game is at least in a somewhat decent state. Sure, there'll definitely be a bunch of new stuff to fix, but after all, this is the final stretch, so I can just lock in for a month or two, fix everything that might have slipped through the cracks, and still release the game on time. This is not what happened. Within 24 hours of releasing the game to my new playtesters, I got over 100 bug reports. Fast forward a week or so, and it's in the hundreds. I was expecting bug reports, but nowhere close to this many. Some were small, a typo here and there, a visual bug, an easy to reproduce error, but others weren't. Game-breaking softlocks, random errors from seemingly nowhere, and systems breaking all of a sudden. And just to be clear, not all reports were bugs, but rather feedback. And the thing is, while this feedback was technically just feedback, it didn't really feel optional. Like, I don't want to release the game with really unfun bosses, or a poorly implemented tutorial, especially if multiple people are saying the exact same things. With my Trello board now huge, and only growing bigger and bigger with each day, my only option was just to get to work fixing all these issues one by one. Every day, I would try to fix as many things as I could, prioritizing the most game-breaking issues and releasing new builds every few days. And while I was making progress, it didn't feel like much. With every bug fixed, it felt like 10 more would pop up, creating an endless stream. And I won't lie, this was a soul-crushing feeling. To feel so good and so close to release, only to realize you still have a ridiculous amount to do. It's not like I was even adding new content or anything, and it could cut the scope back. But rather, I had literally hundreds of things to do, some easy and some not so easy, just to get the game in a playable, releasable state. This was a really depressing feeling and also quite frustrating. It feels like the majority of the work I've been doing in the past year or so has literally just been bug fixing and making small tweaks here and there, so to realize that this grueling, really not fun part of development is going to last for longer than anticipated, it is not fun. To be clear, I knew something like this was coming, but just not at this scale, especially considering it's not like this was the first time I've ever had playtesters. And this is where I still am today, still chugging along, fixing bugs in every bit of free time I can find. Okay, this is the part where I explain why the whole game architecture of Slimekeep doesn't really help with wrapping the game up. See, I started development on Slimekeep 4.5 years ago, when sure, I knew how to make small games, but not big games. And that is a crucial difference. There's a reason why you can see game jam games made in 48 hours that look super complete and packed with content, and wonder why that pace of development can't be kept up when working on bigger games. What I've painstakingly learned from first-hand experience through the past few years is that game architecture, organization, whatever you want to call it, really matters. Whenever you create a new system, it is crucial to make that system reusable, expandable, and modifiable. And while I thought I was doing this for Slimekeep, knowing what I know now, so many of the systems are just so poorly made. There's a lot of duplicated code, unintuitive code, clutter, and a lack of abstraction all over the place. I really do wish I learned more about how to actually set up the infrastructure for creating a large-scale game before just diving into it, because it's cost me so many hours in crucial times like now. Admittedly, I could never anticipate that Slimekeep would get this big, but still looking back, I really wish I set up many of the game systems in better ways. And yes, I know I could do that now, and that would have to happen if I plan to work on the game for another 5 years or so, but I just don't think it makes sense in the game's current state. Also, Slimekeep has many systems/moving parts, and what I've had to learn the hard way is that changing one small thing in one of these systems/moving parts often breaks things in ways that I could never predict. So this just makes fixing bugs way harder, and the whole game architecture definitely doesn't help with this issue. Something else I feel like I need to mention in my quest to finish Slimekeep is my overall situation. See, as some of you know, working on this game is not my full-time job. I'm still in college, and during the past few summers, I've had internships. This means some days I may only have an hour or two to work on the game, if that, which really does not help with the speed of development. Also, Slimekeep has always just been a passion project for me, but lately it's been feeling a bit more like a job and a burden. I want this game to be out more than anyone. And I have to admit, the combination of limited working time plus seemingly endless things to fix has really stressed me out these past few months. I've started to question if I'm just a really bad programmer or if this is normal, and started to feel guilty for not working on the game, as unlike a traditional 9 to 5, the indie game developer workday never really ends. While I love what I'm creating with Slimekeep and do think the game will be fun and people enjoy it post-launch, I feel like I just have to admit that things have been hard recently. The project has started to feel like a ball and chain that's been dragging me down from pursuing anything else, which is kind of draining creatively. I've never seriously considered quitting development on Slimekeep, but I often just imagine how nice it would be to not have this project lingering around. So that's a big reason why I think I'm putting so much pressure on myself to actually get it out there. It's not like I have a publisher pushing me to get the game out by a certain date, but I just want to do this for myself more than anyone. And when developing a commercial project of any kind, you just really have to consider these kind of things, and make sure you learn to manage your stress and have a work-life balance, which has been a bit of a test for me recently. But with all this said, don't worry, I've been taking breaks and I've been making good progress, so I don't mean for this whole section to be super depressing or anything. So what's next? Will the game actually release in 2024? I don't know. I obviously want it to be out as soon as possible, but I also don't want to release a buggy mess. Right now, the plan is to just keep focusing on fixing all these issues. This really will not be easy, as my motivation has definitely taken a hit recently, but I'll try my best to get the game out as soon as I can, while making sure it's still something that I'm happy with. And because I'll be focusing a lot on actually finishing the game, Slimekeep Devlogs might slow down a bit. Something I haven't really talked about in the process of finishing this game is these devlogs, which take time to make. And while I do think creating devlogs surrounding this game has been extremely helpful in so many ways, I might be slowing down a bit over the next few months. I just really haven't been recording too much content as of recently, as there's no new flashy systems or anything. It's literally just been a grind to patch up broken things and make small tweaks over the past few months. So yeah, I don't know. But just don't be surprised if I go quiet for a bit and recognize that I'll still be working on the game even if there isn't a regularly scheduled devlog. Also, I should mention that this whole ordeal is not the fault of my playtesters. They did a fantastic job finding so much stuff that I probably would have never found myself. And even though it's a lot to deal with, it's way better that they can help me find all this stuff now rather than being overwhelmed at launch. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with recently. I know this video is really different from my other devlogs, but I just felt like I needed to share this experience. I don't feel like I see as many devlogs share this side of the game dev process, and I would just be lying if I made things seem all sunshine and rainbows above the surface, when in reality, man, game dev is really dang hard. Anyways, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, please do consider wishlisting Slimekeep on Steam. This really helps me out when the game actually does launch. And thank you for all your continued support on these devlogs. I know it's been a pretty crazy ride over the past few years, and I really don't think I could do it without you guys. But that's all I have for now, and I'll see you in the next one.